I deliberately flipped my truck full of industrial chili peppers, watching the villagers swarming to loot it. I knew my plan had succeeded, because 9 years ago, when my dad was driving his big rig through Xiaohe village, his tires were blown out by a road full of nails, causing a fatal crash. His truckload of fat pigs was looted clean by the locals. I knew it was not an accident. The locals intentionally planted the nails to make the trucks flip over, so they could steal the cargo from passing trucks. My mom wanted to sue them, but the villagers threw tantrums and acted completely unreasonable. Even the police were helpless, and the case eventually went nowhere. 9 years later, I drove a semi-truck through here again. But this time though, it looked like normal chili peppers. My truck was actually loaded with millions of Scoville industrial chilies. A small bite lands you in the ICU, a big one could kill you on the spot. I intentionally parked a few miles away from the village to rest. The next second, a simply dressed old man approached me. "Hey young man, where are you heading with this truckload of peppers?" "To Jingzhou, delivering them to a 5-star hotel." The old man immediately smiled upon hearing that. I saw this old man 9 years ago when I collected my dad's body. If he had not stopped my dad on the road back then, and maliciously guided him through Xiaohe village, my dad would never have crashed. He looked greedy as he spoke. "There is a long stretch of highway under construction ahead. I can show you a shortcut via the state road. I live in Xiaohe village, which is right on the way. How about you give me a ride?" He looked at the huge load of red peppers behind me and smiled even sweeter. He figured the locals here could not live without spicy food, and this was the perfect season to sun-dry peppers. When the truck passed through Xiaohe village, as long as they prepared in advance, they would make sure my truck never made it out. Then his whole family would get a truckload of peppers for free, scoring a huge haul without spending a dime. He knew this whole routine like the back of his hand, because he was the village's designated scout to lure trucks through their village. Countless truck drivers had been screwed over by him, but little did he know, I came fully prepared this time. Before coming, I had strategized with another victim's relative. I would be in charge of driving and flipping the truck, while Shu would handle gathering the evidence of their crimes. "Well, thank you, sir." "Hop in." Old Zhao climbed into my truck with practiced ease. As soon as he got in, he sneakily pulled out his phone and sent a text, telling the other villagers to get ready for the ambush. After doing that, he started chatting with me, to make me lower my guard. "Young man, what kind of variety of peppers are you hauling? How come I have never seen them before? The packaging looks pretty fancy. I am not too sure myself. Maybe it is a new breed." "Anyway," the owner said, "this batch is quite expensive."
Actually, he misunderstood.
The packaging was thick and rigid. Not because it was fancy, but because the contents were extremely dangerous, and had to be tightly sealed. After all, these peppers had 100 times more capsaicin than normal ones. They were not meant for human consumption. They were used for biopesticides, cable anti-corrosion coatings, and tear gas.
Highly lethal stuff.
That is exactly why I chose to haul it. Expensive is good. Means they will fetch a good price. Old Zhao was totally consumed by thoughts of fencing the stolen goods. He completely missed the huge words, "hazardous materials," painted on the truck. The truck soon drove into Xiaohe village. Right then, old Zhao suddenly asked to get out. "Young man, my stomach is suddenly acting up. I need to use the restroom. Just drop me off right here. I will walk the rest of the way back." He was looking for an excuse to bail, because a few minutes ago, he had already texted the villagers planting nails ahead. He did not dare go any further, terrified of getting caught in the crash himself. "It is fine, just hold it a bit longer. We are almost there." With that, I slammed on the gas. Old Zhao panicked. To force me to stop, he pretended to pull down his pants. "Don't. Stop the truck. I really can't hold it anymore. It is gonna stink up your cab." "No worries. Us truckers have seen it all. There is a portable toilet under your seat. It is totally clean. Just use that." "Stop the truck." You drove past it. Seeing we were about to hit the ambush zone, the old man was scared out of his wits. He pulled a small hammer from his bag and started smashing at my window. But even after pounding the passenger window several times, the glass did not show a single crack. "Sir, this is double-layered laminated tempered glass. I just had it replaced last month. It is super tough. Why are you getting so worked up? We will be in the village in a second."
No.
Kid.
"Stop driving forward. I had people put nails on the road ahead." With the crash zone right in front of us, old Zhao was sweating bullets.
What?
"What did you say?" "Those harvesters outside are too loud. I can't hear you." Old Zhao stopped pretending and screamed right into my ear. I said I had the road rigged. "There are nails that will bust your tires and make the truck flip over. Why did not you say so earlier?" I said as I slowed down. But the truck still ran over the nails. Then came the instant sound of tires blowing out. The rig plowed straight into a row of abandoned pig pens by the road. Luckily, I had installed a reinforced seatbelt beforehand, and was wearing an anti-impact vest. I was just a bit dizzy. On the other hand, old Zhao in the passenger seat was pinned by the crumpled dashboard due to the momentum. Red bricks from the pig pens flew in and smashed him in the head. His face was covered in blood, looking absolutely miserable. Quick, call someone to save me.
Old Zhao said that.
But despite having his phone in hand, he did not call the police right away, because he had something more important to do. Silence. Like deleting the text messages from his phone, where he had tipped off the nail-planting villagers. But with blood blurring his vision, he could not make out where the delete button was. I will call right now. Sir, are you okay? I said, pretending to reach over and check on him out of concern, and accidentally knocked his phone right out of his hand. My phone. Then I opened my window and yelled for help.
Somebody help us. Please call the police.
However, the mob of villagers running toward us, led by an older woman named Auntie Chen, did not come to my rescue upon hearing my cries. Instead, she snatched my phone through the window and chucked it far away. She was afraid that calling the cops would bring the police here immediately, ruining everyone's chance to loot my cargo. Those bright red peppers looked so festive to them, and the old man had mentioned in his text that this batch of peppers was premium stuff. They could resell them for a fortune later. Madam, help me. And him. I pointed at old Zhao, whose face was covered in blood. He was clearly severely injured, but Auntie Chen clearly did not recognize her own husband. Instead, she shot him a look of sheer disgust. I am not risking moving you. Wait for the police and the ambulance to save you. Auntie Chen said that and left us for dead, hollering at the other villagers to hurry up and haul away the sacks of peppers. She kept shouting.
We are rich.
We are hitting the jackpot again. We are gonna be rich. Pretty soon, every single household here is gonna build a 3-story mansion. I was completely dizzy at this point, lacking the strength to even open the door. Through blurred vision, I saw dozens of figures marching toward us. Some were carrying huge sacks, others had carrying poles. They all came fully prepared. They picked up the intact sacks of peppers scattered on the ground. The younger ones threw them over their shoulders and left, while the older ones forcefully dragged 2 bags at a time. Not far away, a few tricycles were parked, waiting to be loaded up. It was obvious this was an organized crime ring. Their movements practiced and ruthless. I screamed from inside the truck at the top of my lungs. Don't take them. These peppers are not for eating. Finders keepers, they are mine now. You just had a car crash. Sit tight and wait for your rescue. One old lady even snapped back at me, then practically sprinted off, dragging a huge bag of chilies. These peppers are toxic. You can't eat them. You have to believe me. We are just picking up a few of your peppers, and you're making up this nonsense about toxic peppers.
How could peppers be toxic?
You think we are idiots. Another villager, seeing the big sacks were all gone, started scooping up the loose peppers off the dirt. But as he got closer to them, the spice fumes made his eyes water so badly he could not open them. These chilies pack a serious punch. I love it. Fighting through the burning sensation, he stuffed a huge pile of peppers into his large sack. The others followed his lead. I did not try to warn them anymore. My dizziness and nausea had me dry heaving uncontrollably. Before I knew it, I passed out. My mission was accomplished. The rest was up to Xu. Xu, also known as Xu Dafu, was an orphan whose parents had both passed away. He was raised single-handedly by his uncle. But 8 years ago, when his uncle drove a truck through Xiaohe village, the tires were shredded by broken glass. The truck flipped, and the cargo was entirely looted by the Xiaohe villagers. His uncle ended up in a vegetative state from the crash. Growing up, Xu swore he would get revenge for his uncle, so he studied incredibly hard, graduated from college, and came to Xiaohe village, becoming the village's deputy chief. For the past 2 years, he pushed to install streetlights here, and secretly mounted security cameras on the poles, because he was gathering evidence. In the security room, Xu watched the screens as the villagers looted my rig, recording every single one of their ugly, greedy faces. And out of official duty, he broadcasted a warning over the village PA system. Villagers, please obey the law. Do not loot the cargo. Those of you who have taken the goods, do not consume or sell them. Return the stolen property to the owner immediately. He would have been doing these routine broadcasts for over a year, but they were completely useless. The villagers never listened to him. Otherwise, I would not have had to step in. When Auntie Chen dragged her heavy sack of chilies home humming a tune, she instinctively called out,
Old man.
"Open the door," but no one answered. That is when she realized she had not seen her husband while looting the peppers. She did not call him immediately. Instead, she happily dumped the sack of peppers in the main hall to air dry. If they went bad, she would not get a good price for them later. Locals here lived for spicy food, and thinking she would never seen this variety before, she tossed a couple into the pork stew she was making for dinner. just 5 minutes after chopping the peppers. She noticed her hands were turning red and burning with pain, but she did not pay it much mind, just muttering, "These chilies today are really something. I should tell my grandson to take it easy tonight,
or he will be suffering on the toilet tomorrow."
When the stew was served at the table, her son rushed over with 2 ice-cold beers. It was only when he went to pour old Zhao a drink that he wondered why his dad was not back yet. Mom.
Where's Dad?
Probably freeloading a meal at someone's house again. So Auntie Chen's son brushed it off, sat down, and started stuffing his face with meat, washed down with the icy beer. The hot and cold combo felt incredible. Before anyone else even sat down, he devoured half a bowl of meat. But the more he ate, the spicier it got. At first he was just sweating profusely. Then his tongue felt like it was being bitten by venomous snakes. He finally realized something was seriously wrong. He turned to his mother and asked, "Mom, what kind of peppers did you use today? Why are they so hot?" Auntie Chen pointed to the pile of chilies airing in the hall. Another big truck flipped over today. "These are your dad's trophies."
Pretty flavorful today, right?
Her son had graduated from an agricultural university. One look inside the hall and he was terrified. "Mom, these are industrial peppers. Take me to get my stomach pumped. If we are too late, I am gonna die." Auntie Chen had not expected it to be so serious. She rushed next door to old Zhao III's house. "Third brother, is your Fusheng home? My son has been poisoned by industrial peppers.
Tell Fusheng to drive him to the hospital quick."
When she barged in, old Zhao III's family of 7 was eating. They were having chili stir-fried pork with steamed buns. Hearing her, old Zhao III pointed to the dish on the table. "These industrial peppers you mentioned. Could they be these?" Auntie Chen just noticed that the entire family was sweating buckets, and their lips were completely swollen. "Yes, those are the ones. Oh my god. Did the whole village eat these industrial peppers? Call 911 right now." Old Zhao III was old, had a small appetite and had not eaten much. His mind was still relatively clear. He immediately grabbed his phone and called emergency services. "Hello, is this 911? Our entire village accidentally ate industrial peppers. We might all be poisoned." However, the ambulances took a long time to arrive, because to ensure they could completely loot every flipped truck, the villagers deliberately covered the roads with gravel and dead branches to delay any rescue vehicles from reaching them. That night, cries of agony echoed throughout Zhaohe village. Over a dozen ambulances showed up, along with plenty of police cars. It even caught the attention of the media. I woke up the next morning. The doctor said my injuries were not too severe, just a minor fracture in my right hand, and a moderate concussion. I just needed some good rest to recover. Old Zhao in the passenger seat was not nearly as lucky. He was old, his bones were brittle, and the impact had been too massive. Both his legs were shattered. He had intracranial bleeding, and was brought in way too late. He died on the way to the hospital. As for the Zhaohe villagers, after eating those industrial peppers, the lucky ones just had severe vomiting and diarrhea. The worse off had stomach hemorrhaging, and over a dozen even went into shock and ended up in the ICU. 2 of them did not survive resuscitation and died last night. Out of a village of over 200 people, more than 100 were now being treated in the hospital, with 2 casualties. It was deemed a massive food safety incident. Now, multiple departments were launching a joint investigation. This morning, swarms of media reporters arrived at Zhaohe village, pointing their cameras and mics at the affected villagers and officials. Zhaohe village was a complete madhouse. Some were holding funerals, while others were frantically trying to destroy evidence of their looting, and not just the industrial peppers. They also had crates of stolen imported liquor, exotic geese locked in their pig pens, and massive amounts of pork and seafood frozen in their fridges. I do not know which absolute genius did it. Silence. But someone mixed the industrial peppers with the liquor and set it on fire. Instantly, the entire village was engulfed in a choking, pungent chili smoke. And it was incredibly windy that day. Fire followed grapevines over a wall to a neighbor's house. That neighbor happened to have a biogas digester. With a massive boom, the neighbor's house was blown to pieces. The fire then spread even more fiercely, burning down 5 or 6 houses before it was finally put out. Watching the live footage from the reporters on my phone, I almost burst out laughing. Now there was no way their dirty secrets could stay hidden. Just then, Officer Lee pushed the door open and walked in. "Hello. We need to take your statement." I was already prepared. Silence. Lee adjusted the glasses on his nose. "Our investigation shows you were not supposed to take this route. Why did you suddenly switch to this road right before the incident? Was this intentional?" "Because the old man in the passenger seat told me to," he said. "The highway was jammed, and that this way would be faster. Plus, I could drop him off at home on the way. By the way, did you guys find my phone? I am a cautious guy, afraid of getting scammed." So after the old man got in, I immediately turned on my phone's video recording. The whole incident is recorded on there. We found the phone you mentioned. It was water damaged. Our tech department is recovering the data right now. We should have the results very soon. That is a relief. Oh, right. Did you find the old man's phone? Thinking back on it, that old man was messing with his phone from the second he got in, almost like he was tipping someone off. Lai nodded. That was the key to the case. In the old man's phone, they had found the undeleted chat logs from right before the crash. The messages showed him leaking my license plate, the exact time I would be passing through Xiaohe village, instructing people on how to scatter the nails, and exactly where to put them. So it was not an accident at all. It was a premeditated crash. What shocked them even more was that this was not the old man's first rodeo. After the tech department fully recovered his phone data, they found he was part of a major crime syndicate. With multiple prior offenses, they had caused the deaths of countless truck drivers. Silence. The number of suspects involved was staggering. The truth behind the case was absolutely chilling. Silence. I guess you guys already have a ton of evidence. So do I have to take the fall for the old man's death? As long as it is proven that old Zhao orchestrated the crash. You won't need to be held responsible for his death. He brought it upon himself. However, many villagers ingested the industrial peppers. As the transporter, you have a duty of care. Liability for that part still needs to be determined. The amount in damages could be massive. I begged them not to take them. They insisted on taking them to eat. Li immediately caught the key point in my words. You said you tried to stop them. Yes. Before I passed out, I repeatedly told them those peppers were dangerous, that they were toxic. I remember there were cameras near the crash site. They should be able to prove that. Li said they pulled the footage last night. But the cameras did not record audio, so they could only see the villagers looting the peppers, throwing away my phone, and stopping me from calling the cop. The Po. Lice, after failing to get any useful information from me, frowned and left. Soon the villagers found out I had woken up. They banged on my hospital room door, calling me a murderer, demanding I pay with my life for the dead, and demanding I compensate them for all their losses. Keep yelling. You guys will be silenced soon enough. As public opinion boiled over, more victimized truck drivers and their families stepped forward. They accused Xiaohe village of treating human lives like dirt, intentionally planting nails just to steal cargo, causing crashes and feasting on the blood of the innocent. Because there were so many victims, the villagers of Xiaohe were quickly prosecuted. After charges were filed, many tried to flee the village in the dead of night, but they were all caught and sent to the police station one by one for interrogation. Every single villager from Xiaohe was eventually locked up. Except for Shu, the deputy village chief. He was an outsider, had never participated in any of the crimes, and every time an incident happened, he captured their crimes on camera. He was considered a whistleblower. 10 days after the crash, just when I thought I was totally cleared of suspicion, the police showed up at my door again. I had already been discharged and was resting at home. It was Officer Li taking my statement again. This time I was brought to a police interrogation room. Under the dim lights, Li slammed a surveillance photo on the table. Half a month before the crash, you were seen meeting with Mr. XU and another victim's relative. We suspect this whole incident was a joint premeditated plot. Please answer truthfully. First, do you know Mr.
CU?
No, I do not. I am friends with the other victim's relative. When we hung out together?
This Mr. Shu just happened to be there.
You are lying. We already found out that 9 years ago, your father also died in a truck crash. Right there in Xiaohe village? I am making a bold guess that your crash was not an accident. It was revenge. Revenge orchestrated by the three of you. The industrial peppers were the weapon in your hands. This is murder. Li was dead serious. He was trying to break through my psychological defenses. You said it yourself, it is just a guess. Officer Li, if you actually had evidence to prove your theory, I would not just be sitting here answering questions. I had anticipated this exact scenario because any crime leaves a trace. And I knew I would inevitably be investigated again. What expression to make?
How to respond?
I had rehearsed it in my head 1,000 times.
Yes.
All current evidence works in your favor. It all proves the incident was tied to old Zhao, that he orchestrated it himself, and caused his own downfall. But the recently replaced window glass, the anti-impact vest you had on, and the cameras suddenly installed in the village half a year ago. Too many coincidences usually mean it is not a coincidence. Then investigate all you want. If you find something and I go to jail, I will accept it. Shoot me, kill me, whatever. All I know is that after my dad died, my mom cried every single day, crying until she went blind. I could not sleep at night because of it, and developed severe depression. But after this crash, I can finally sleep. When I eventually go down there, at least I will be able to look my dad in the eye. If we were not pushed to the absolute edge, why would I have resorted to this? Judging criminals is the court's job.
Not yours.
You will pay for what you have done. Lee was incredibly principled. In his eyes, white was white, and black was black. He could not tolerate any gray areas. From his perspective, he was right. But from mine, I had no other choice. He finally sighed, said nothing more, and left. 3 months later, this massive, far-reaching case finally concluded, with multiple cases merged. The first instance found me not guilty. I did not have to bear responsibility for old Zhao's death, nor for the villagers' mass poisoning. Instead, with irrefutable evidence against them, the villagers were sentenced to prison terms ranging from 5 to 15 years. The villagers refused to accept this, and appealed to a higher court. During the appeal, many victims of the past truck crashes
Testified in court as witnesses.
proving that the villagers had brought it upon themselves, and establishing that Xu and I were innocent. Ultimately, due to a lack of evidence of us committing a crime, Xu and I were released in court. As for the villagers, because it was a highly publicized landmark case, their original sentences were upheld, 5 to 15 years behind bars. After the case was closed, Xu resigned from his post at Zhaohe Village, and went to work elsewhere. I also returned to a peaceful life, just like thousands of other truckers, driving across every corner of the country. Zhaohe Village, effectively wiped out, was no longer a den of thieves. From now on, any big rig can drive safely through here. There won't be any more iron nails on the road, nor any more looting villagers. If anything, it is a bit too quiet here now. After the incident, out of pure shame, most locals either went to prison
Or packed up and moved away.
Now, the houses in Zhaohe Village are entirely abandoned. Even the fertilizer plant that was about to break ground there relocated. This place is thoroughly dead. The sins and history of Zhaohe Village will be forgotten as time goes on. But justice remains in the hearts of the people